Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and we're back, another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula and
Jay. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we are back, and we're feeling pretty good.
Yep.
We had a good time. Had a good week.
Yeah. Had a good week, had a productive week.
Look, no signs.
No signs. No, we didn't make it.
Womp womp.
However, I'm incredibly pleased with my turnout. So thank you very much for people who voted for me and supported. I took a lot away from my election run and the results. So I'm pretty chuffed.
You had 234 votes, which is more than Dallas got. Just to put it out there.
Low turnout. People vote for your municipal elections. Vote. Come out and vote. Irrelevant if there's a Blue Jays game on.
I think that played a big factor, to be honest with you.
That in Canada Post. Canada Post strike. People said, I had no idea. Now, separate from the fact that our faces were everywhere, other people's signs were everywhere. Like, what's going on? But yeah, I think Canada Post played a huge part because that getting that voter card in the mail is that little reminder, set the date, all that type of thing. But yeah,
it was a challenge because we saw and met many people at their doors and even in town at the stores, and they had no idea there was an election.
Yeah.
But I think that's a fair thing for everybody. Like, it's not a disadvantage or advantage for us. I think it's just a disadvantage disadvantage to the entire process. It would have been great because there's definitely 200 fewer voters on the council level. I have no idea about your level because it was acclaimed, but there was a lower turnout for sure.
Yeah, it was substantial for municipal politics. I think that's 200 votes not turning up or people coming out to vote. Yeah, it does impact. So yeah, so that was a little disappointing just to see the overall numbers. But like I said, compared to my vote to the winner, what is the person who was elected, I think is more appropriate. I'm super pleased because I work it out that it was 137 votes, and I say that works out to be 70 households if you think of 2 folks per household. So that's 70 households that missed out on the information of Paula.
Missed out. I love the way you frame that. But yeah, you got 38% and I got 28%. And if you look at my federal one of 2%, I'm growing. I'm growing. But no, I'm not upset. Disappointed would be the correct term.
Yeah.
So absolutely wanted to bring some things forward. But as a citizen, I can still bring forward quite a few things and probably become a bee in the bonnet in that council chamber. Put my name forward for a bunch of committees. I'll know about that on November 3rd. But I think the biggest takeaway for me is how many good people we met. Really good people.
Fantastic. It was really great. And, met some more homeschoolers and, it was really good to get to know the community. And more importantly, I think for them to get to know us and for them to actually have trust in the fact that, wow, there's more people out there who want to stand up for the things we believe in. I was like, yes, we exist. If you exist, there's more of us for sure. And I think that was definitely a good takeaway for all involved.
It definitely felt like come out of the shadows.
Yeah.
Come out of the shadows. But one of the good takeaways for me, which is preparing me for the next run here in Browser County, was the non-Dallas vote was larger than the Dallas vote. So if there was if we didn't have 2 people running against Dallas, he would have been out because the non-Dallas vote was larger. We would have won by 12. But good news is Sarah and I have chatted. We've had a good conversation, several hours. She's a smart woman. And there's a lot of things going forward that we're going to work together on. And who knows what happens in the next election. But we could have had him if it was just one of us running. And I do think that going forward, Dallas better put up and focus less on just his one road because the whole community is watching now.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind that a lot of people knew about his pet project. And he lost 150 votes from his last run. So his support went down. He's below the majority. So he doesn't have 50% plus for his support right now. Because, again, we would have won had we not had 2 people run against him. So definitely he's on his last legs here. So if this causes him to step up and do a good job for Division 6, well, then we've actually done a really good job here for Division 6 too.
Sure.
But I'm not very optimistic. So we'll see where that goes. And then for your side, we have no idea how this person is going to perform. Holly, his wife. Ideally, she does a good job.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, exactly. As a conversation I've had with a few people who just approached, hey, by the way, we voted for you, which was lovely. It was actually really nice to come to hear that. But now at the end of the day, we've got 4 years to find out what is this new school board trustee going to do for Ward 2, Wild Rose School Division. And it's going to be a case of, watching what do they say yay or nay on. And yes, there would only be one voice in a collective on the board. But what is your influence? What did you stand up to speak out about? Because we know there's more things coming down the pipeline with regards to SOGI and the inappropriate influence and curriculum that's coming down to our students. And so what are you doing to speak out about it? What are you going to be doing to educate the parents about it? Or are you just going to sit there and turn up once a month and, have a coffee?
Good questions, and maybe you can go to the meetings once a month because they are open to the
Yeah.
public, right? And we definitely are going to start. I am definitely going to start, and you're welcome to join. But at least once a month, maybe every 2 months, community meetings, because that was one thing that I was campaigning on that people were very happy about. Like, yeah, we should be talking more and bringing this information to the council.
Yeah.
So even though I don't have a seat, I can still do that work. I can sit down, have these conversations, and go to the council chambers from the public side.
Mhm.
And there is a public portion where I will get the mic and talk to the council. So quasi representation, not official, unofficial representation, but still representation. So I think this will be a great way to actually get to work without that seat.
Yeah, because that was something that definitely the community were on board for getting a collective together to, hey, these are our issues. Because you've discovered there's a few issues in the community that we need to light our council's feet under. That we need to make sure that they, hey, catch up on the weeding when at the right time, not after the weeds have gone to seed. And therefore, when you do cut the ditches, it gets spread everywhere. Things like that, making sure that Moose Hill Bridge, that's a danger, and that's a one road bridge, space bridge to cross over, and yeah, people are concerned, like they have to drive over it, and it's potentially in disrepair. So all these things that the community brought forward through our door knocking, and this is, why isn't our council looking at these things more effectively?
Now, a fantastic takeaway was we learned about our church.
Mhm.
And one of the things that we did yesterday for the first time is we went to a new church.
Yes.
And we came to the community. There was a split in the church,
Yeah, it
which we
happened the
learned.
year before we started attending, sure.
Yeah. But we didn't know what it was about, what it was going on there, but we just knew a long-running pastor left the church and about half of the congregation followed him. That's all we knew
Yeah.
until we were door knocking. And when we were door knocking, several people asked, "What church do you go to?" And a couple of them said, "Oh." And then we said, "Oh." And then we got to learn a bit more of the history of it.
Mhm.
You know that for years now, since Pastor Natasha left and this new guy, Pastor Ray, came in, I
Mhm.
wasn't comfortable with him from the
Mhm.
very first moment that we saw him.
Yeah, there's particular wording, language that he uses that we are not aligned with. Um, Globalism, long and short of it. And I'm not sure where that influence comes from, whether it's because there are certain very large international organizations that fund the church and therefore they get influence over them. I'm not sure, especially when it comes to international fundraising. There are some organizations that, again, we're not sure where they are exactly globally aligned, but there is a strong international influence with them. And when you see that being represented in your church, you're like, hmm. Look, I come from a developing country. I've born and raised in Nigeria, so I do appreciate, yes, there are very small, remote communities that need a well, they need structures, they need education, no doubt. But I've also seen when some NGOs come in and they have a very expensive Jeep, and what it costs to bring these expats into developing and third world nations is a lot compared to what they could be spending within the developing community. So I've always had a bit of a suspicion, issues with those organizations, and when I see some of them being promoted and funded within the church, um, I have suspicions, be the best way.
For me, it was around how he told people basically to sit down and just follow. Sit down and
Uh,
follow. Yeah, be sheep.
mhm,
Absolutely. And then we learned that our particular ex-church
mhm,
is part of a larger organization, and that organization has been fighting somewhat against the push to the left,
mhm,
but then they gave up. And our old church was one of the ones that shut down required masking, did all of that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
required the vax. And that was kind of the last straw because the pastor wanted to stay open, which is what we learned in hindsight, absolutely the best thing to have done. If all churches did that, things would have been far better.
This would have been quashed completely.
Yeah. So for those that watch this show, you will fully understand. Like Bikers Church would be a great example of exactly what we're talking about here. And this new one that we have, and we can't give the name because it's a hush one. We took a while to find it.
Yeah, not
We heard
not
about it.
necessarily, but it's a case of, listen, we just want to mind our own business and get to worship. That was really it.
No, and it was really cool. And then we knew we were with people that thought like us when we could actually talk.
Yeah.
Like actually talk. This was one thing that the other church shunned, was no talking about politics or anything. Just be civil and nice to each other. And but that didn't stop others. Like I knew that there was pro-vax people in there, like strong pro-vax people in there, and kind of just rolled with the punches. But we felt welcomed, but not that we belonged there. This new one, we feel like we belong.
Yeah.
And some lady after,
Some lady.
yeah, I don't remember her name. We were talking after the sermon, and I just mentioned, yeah, there was like 20,000 people in Edmonton for the rally, because they were talking about the rally and Alberta independence, which is brand new to us. We couldn't talk about that before in the other church. And then she goes, yeah, Jason Levine posted that 20,000 people were there. Like, hi, I'm Jason Levine. She didn't put two to two together, because I guess I don't like the same as my little picture. But yeah, she was very pleased. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. And many people came up to us in that church and said, hey, nice to meet you. By the way, I voted for you.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of people looking for us types of people. Like that we connected very well. Definitely feel welcome. The boys loved it. You liked it. And we saw a lot of familiar faces there too. A lot of APP members were in that church. This is why I definitely know that we're in the right spot now.
Yeah, I mean, but also shout out to the people I'm on my committees with, or I was on the committees with, because I've great people. I've no issue. I'll miss you, and obviously, we can still hang out outside of the church. But yeah, it was definitely a different vibe, and we could just have very open conversations. And that's something I do feel that we are restricted on, whether through it's not appropriate to some just aren't aware of some of the things going on. And I find that in this day and age, we should be aware what's going on and have a say and be willing to speak out about it.
There was a little line on the hymn book, which totally sold me. It said, no lockup, no lockdown, no lockouts.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow. And then one person I met, he's like, yeah, no, I used to go to the same church as you guys did, but they kicked me out because of my views of geopolitical issues. Like, really? You got kicked out of the church? Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. But I'm sure
asked to leave.
No, he was pretty blunt about it. But I'm sure we would have been on the cusp of that if we pushed any conversations in there. So
yeah,
well, I think we're in the right spot. So big shout out to Pastor Jeff. Everybody knows his name. He was a 12-year pastor at our previous church. He was there over a decade before he ended up leaving, and lots of good people around. And another thing I noticed was it's various ages. So there's a lot of young people, like children, but there's also a lot of people younger than us with children. And there's certainly some elderly folks, but this is a very young looking.
Yeah, there's generations coming up.
Yeah,
sure.
Compared to the previous one. The previous one was definitely the golden years, predominantly. There were some younger families, but not like this. Like this church has more people there, larger community for the children. The children loved it. And we stayed 2 hours extra just chatting because that's how comfortable we were. Instead of just saying, hey, bye, and then we go on with our day, we actually were there for, 3.5 hours because we showed up half an hour early because we weren't sure what time.
Yeah.
So anyways, new church, I feel great. We've connected to a good portion of our community, and it's a larger portion. So I definitely think that we're going to have a lot more support going forward as a family and as a congregation. I'm loving it.
Yep. What he said.
All right, so let's get into the news because there's a bunch to catch up on. But thanks to everybody who was wondering where we were, how we're doing. We're doing great. Oh, I have to give Martin our update because he actually told me. I look forward to your homestead updates. Generator is wired. Okay? Generator is wired now. That was a large job, like a day.
Yeah.
I did all the gas line. I just need to get a regulator. Last piece of the generator is the 2-wire start kit, which is really just a wire that slips into the harness. I know where it goes. I just need to get the wires. and then we need to activate it, and it will be up. So our main generator looks like we're going to be running that soon.
Woo-hoo.
I know you're excited.
And I think with was the diesel heat up? Yeah, that was done. I think right before we left, you got the diesel heat.
You got it running, but then we ran into an issue, and we found after diagnosing all the way back that the sediment in the tank collected, and we had it tilted to where the intake is for the fuel line. But now we have it slightly angled, so anything that settles is on the other side of the tank, and that opened it up, and we're good to go. So lesson learned.
Yep.
And we got the other diesel heaters ready to go, and we got the skirting around the studio mostly done. So big projects were getting done.
Yeah. And Will was still alive and kicking.
He is. There you go, Martin. There's your update on the homestead. We're very close to automatic power out of our propane tank. So we're very happy.
Propane and propane accessories.
Lots of news to catch up on. So let's just jump into that one. So of course we've got Wiretap Media exposing more Canadian anti-hate network. They received another $200,000 from the federal government. And my problem with this one, okay, there's a loose connection or direct connection or a very hard connection to Antifa. We'll leave it at that. And Antifa is now designated as a terrorist group by the U.S. However, this group is openly against far right. So they call themselves, the project title is Creating an Ethical Framework for Research on Far Right Organizing in Canada. Why not both? Why not far left and far right? Why not be looking after the ethical framework for research on extremism in Canada? Why are you focused on one side? Well, we know the answer. It's all rhetorical. It's because they're used to shut down the right side, which would be, conservatives. And I'm not for extremism on any side. It doesn't matter. But why is Canada spending so much money focusing solely on one side? That's where my big problem with this one is. And the real answer is because these are the arm of the government, which meant to shut down dissident and opposing views. When you're the left, the liberal government, you want to shut down the right. So this is totalitarianism, this is socialism, this is communism, this is Marxism. We got lots and lots of words for it now. That's what's going on here. And I really hope that if the conservative government gets in there, who knows what happens to Canada in their future. We may not care much because Alberta may do its own thing. But if that is the case, just focus on actual extremism, not made up extremism, but actual. And there is some here in Canada. It's imported from other countries. Toronto now has a large community of Khalistanis that are pushing hard out there, not just in Calgary and Edmonton anymore. So we do have some things to be focused and worried about, but here we are. The letter to, this is a letter from Brazeau County all about the ostriches. If you read the letter, it's on my X and my Facebook. It talks about how, and the way it was done was very professional and very good. It was a CFIA. You have a job to do. We know how important it is, but you are impacting the trust because you're ignoring the science on this one. And we believe that if you just tested these birds, you'll learn that there's scientific value and they should not be killed. It's a well-written letter. This came from the administration of Brazeau County, endorsed by the Agricultural Service Board, and it's been sent to Prime Minister Carney. Went to, let me just get the names here. It's hard to see. The Minister of Agriculture and Agri-Foods, Premier Danielle Smith, went to the Alberta level agricultural minister, and went to the MLA, went to the MP, and it went to all the other agricultural service boards. This is one of the boards I applied to, so we'll see if I can get on there after November 3rd, because I think this is good work. They're standing up for the farmers. The farmers wanted this. It was unanimous on the board. There was a lot of input from the public and farmers on this particular motion that I sat and watched happen after I did my presentation. And of course, they should be concerned that the CFIA has unfettered, unbridled power. And the process to challenge it is not fair. You have to go to federal court to appeal it. That's the starting point. And as you all know, this is in the Supreme Court. So we'll get to that in a sec. Our good friend Mia Hughes, she was on. She's the one that's highlighting how the trans movement pivoted, and it pivoted in a harsh way, removed mental illness from uh, the fight or what they were working on, and just made it an ideology that needed to be accepted, or else. While she was scheduled to do a debate, and one of the ladies that she was debating against, so the
Mhm.
pro trans side, is calling her names and saying that she's full of hate speech, and basically not conducting herself in a way that's proper to be in a debate.
Yeah.
Um, and here's my post to Mia. I've met you several times. You don't provide hate speech, but you do have speech they hate because you are intelligent, articulate, educated, persuasive, calm, and full of class. That's what they truly hate. Because she doesn't yell. She's very good
Yeah.
at presenting. She's very good at debating. And they can't stand up to that. And I think what happened here was the opponent watched one of her recent videos where she just basically undressed a doctor who signed a letter, and he claims he didn't
Yeah.
even read the letter.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, well, no, it's not medically necessary to do transition. And she's like, but you said that. You signed a letter
Yeah.
that said that. He's like, no, I didn't. She presented it. Like,
Ta-da!
and then he goes, oh, I must be a dope because I didn't read that. Like how she very articulately undressed him right to his face. He wasn't
Mhm.
mad. He was more ashamed of his actions, which is exactly why they don't want to debate her. She is she's a I'm not going to say the female Charlie Kirk because she's Mia.
Mhm.
She does it Mia's way, which is fantastic. So we'll see if that debate happens. I didn't
Mhm.
get an update on that or not, but it was scheduled, and we'll see where it goes. I released a clip from my interview with Danielle Smith because I sat down with her, and I'll quickly run through this. When I sat down with Premier Daniel Smith last week to talk about Mark Carney, the Premier was clear. He has until the Grey Cup, November 16th, to add Alberta's pipeline projects to the major projects list because, as the Premier said, quote, I think we're getting pretty close to Albertans being completely fed up, that they want to see action or not. We need to know one way or another. And my question was, do you think Carney will provide action that aligns with Alberta's needs or not? There's a overwhelming response from people that don't think he will do a darn thing.
Yep.
But there's also a subgroup of that says Danielle won't do a darn thing either. I've spoken to her. There's a full interview that will be coming out. I know a lot of the people around her have built a lot of connections within the UCP. And look, I'm not aligning myself politically with the UCP. I'm a journalist, and she respects that because she was a journalist as well. But I've got a lot of information out of the Danielle Smith UCP government. She's doing her absolute best at this stage on this issue. I'm not going to give her an A plus plus on the entire run as
Mhm.
premier, but on this issue, I think she fully understands where Albertans and Conservatives stand on this one. She's heard from the independent side for sure, and she hasn't condemned them.
Yeah,
She
true.
actually did the opposite. She said these are people who love Alberta; they're not traitors. So she defended them,
Yeah.
but she's stopping short on saying let's go. However, when she does these or else's, we all know what this means,
Mhm.
and she knows what this means. So let's see where this goes. I'm going to release this interview soon. There's a couple of interviews I want to get out before this one. I'll release this one. You'll see the full context. She talks about the 9 items that she listed, how she's disappointed that they're not done. We definitely get into some of that as well. So we'll release this, and you'll get some more
Yeah, you
information.
got some editing to do, my friend.
I got a lot to catch up on. As we know, Trump has cut off trade negotiations with Canada, completely terminated. This is
Mhm.
in response not just because of the ad, but this was the final straw.
Yeah.
I don't know why Canada, Doug Ford, Carney,
Tough
is
guy.
spending so much money to advertise in the States to knock the
Mm.
president, and why they took selective clips out of a
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan speech and made it seem like he was anti-terrorist when, if you read or listen to the entire speech, he was talking about how tariffs can and can't, it can and also not be beneficial, and they only took out the not beneficial
Sure.
portion. They didn't do the whole thing at all. They misrepresented. They kind of got caught, got their hand slapped, and that was the final straw at this stage because Canada is not being fair when it
Mhm.
comes to that. And President Donald Trump, saw that as trying to influence the Supreme Court when it came around tariffs. If Canada wanted to play fair, what you do is you try to become an intervener in the Supreme Court, and you have your say at the Supreme Court. Hey, we're a party to this because
Mhm.
we're on the other side of this. We're the ones that will suffer from these things. You become an intervener. That's the term. You're going to get involved in a court matter because you believe you have standing. Apply for standing, become an intervener, and have your say in the Supreme Court. That would be the proper way to address this if you actually think you have standing on this. You don't just pop ads all over the U.S.
But don't forget, Connie warned us there's sacrifices that need to be made.
Oh, for the young people, yeah. So breaking, the Royal College of Physicians and Surgeons of Canada through the PC party, or Conservative Party, are saying, hey, too many immigrants cause problems for our system. This is called breaking news by an MP. This is an actual MP, member of Parliament for Riding Mountain, Conservative, Shadow Minister of Health. No, that's not breaking. Maxime Bernier said this in 2018. It's just great that they're starting to catch up. We all knew mass immigration destroys the system, and not just health, it's all of them. Because you need to have a stable foundation of services to support people. And if you overwhelm any system, overwhelm a rowboat and see how fast it sinks. Like, it's silly, but it's not breaking. This is they're finally catching up. And one thing I want to remind people was Project Cactus. Project Cactus is something that CPC paid for, got some slander against Maxime Bernier for this issue, and called him a racist for it. So suddenly the CPC is a racist now because they're saying no to mass immigration, that immigration is a problem?
Yeah. And and also to highlight, this is an issue as well within the education system. Like, a lot of the teachers are complaining they don't have enough support and EAs to assist the students that are divergent and they have learning issues. It's not just children with special needs. It's going to be children that are coming that don't speak English. And it is coming in big and hard in the cities, and that's where they require a lot of assistance, but you'll never hear them speak about that publicly because they don't be classed as racists.
Of course. And but people are signing up to that now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So here we go. This is Monday. I expect some back to work legislation to be popping around. So if you guys aren't aware, we received information while we were door knocking that the teachers are expecting to be forced back to work today, the 27th. So we'll see how that pans out. I don't have any insight from the UCP that that's actually happening, but I have received some information that looks like it's on the table.
Yeah.
And as a response, the association, the Federation of Labor, Alberta's Federation of Labor Unions are threatening a super strike if Danielle does that. And this is a union for the unions, basically. It's an association of all the unions, and they're threatening to put 350,000 people, working in Alberta on strike if she puts back to work legislation. Basically, if you read this letter, the president or whatever this person is saying you just have to do what we say or else. Walking with a really big stick. Like, give us what we want. All unions, give us what we want or else. I think it's time that Danielle Smith actually takes a second look at the legislation around unions. So I wrote this one. I encourage Premier Danielle Smith to end the legislative monopoly held by unions such as the Alberta Teachers Association. Workers deserve choice to join a union or not, choice of which union to join, because I'm not sure a lot of people know this, but the Alberta Teachers Association is a mandatory union. You have to join it if you become a teacher in a jurisdiction. There's no choice. And there's no other option for you. There's only the Alberta Teachers Association. So when you have a monopoly of anything in any industry, you don't have fair representation. So I continue here. When the law forces automatic membership into a single organization, it grants that body disproportionate power and creates an environment where political agendas of a few can be advanced by leveraging the dues of thousands. A free and competitive system would ensure unions earn the trust of their members. Those that serve their members well will thrive. Those that don't won't. So if you do some research, it's exactly what I said there. It's mandatory because it's automatic. It's under the law. This is legislation, which means Danielle can change that. She can revoke that law. And I'd love to see things like Christian Teachers Association, Rural Teachers Association. I'd like to see other unions that specialize in the rights or the advocacy for certain groups. And if you're a teacher and you want to join the LGBT Teachers Association, then go ahead. But what shouldn't happen is you're required, so your dues have to go to them,
Mhm.
and there is no other choice, which means they can really control what they want. So the people that run in the unions, what we're seeing is they're advancing their political beliefs, which is causing a lot of problems. And I see our guest is just signing in right now, so we're going to
Mhm.
bring him on very shortly. Some more stuff is going on at the ostrich farm in the BC. The CFIA have announced that they're going to tarp the entire kill pen now, and they say it's for protection from weather.
Yes.
Or I suggest maybe they're trying to block the zoom lens and cameras that keep poking their eyes into that side and calling out
Mhm.
them on things like the treatment, like you're seeing them poke or hit the birds, and seems to be birds missing. So they're planning to tarp it.
Yeah.
Here's what we're about today with our guest.
Yes.
So congratulations to everybody that showed up in Edmonton. There's no official count. Okay, there's a bunch of ways people are trying to count this. They're
Mhm.
using footage from it, from some pictures from drones, and using AI to count. The sheriffs, not the RCMP, the sheriff said during the event, one of the organizers, that they estimated 20,000 people were there. And there was a lot of views online at the time, and it just keeps going up
Mhm.
higher and higher. And Jeffrey Rath, who's joining us in a couple seconds here, was there. He was one of the speakers, and that's a sea of blue. And I got to tell
Yeah.
you, I wish we were there. We had a commitment
Mhm.
that stopped us from going there, but I wish we were there, and this is why we got Jeffrey on today. Here's a post. The media didn't cover it. They covered everything but this event.
Yeah.
So thank you to Alberta Secession for that. And I think we'll leave it here because the rest we can get to tomorrow, because I'm desperately trying to get Jeff on right now. Good morning,
Good
sir. How are you
morning.
doing? Oh,
Oh, you're
you
muted.
muted yourself. Okay, so we got a little. There we go. You're unmuted, but we don't hear you, Jeff. Nope. We're gonna work on audio. Nope, we don't have you. So under the gear thing, maybe try a different microphone. You may have more than one option there, and we'll get you going. But nope, we still don't have you. I can see your lips moving, and he's going to try again.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll continue with this as he tries again. And this is one thing I don't like about StreamYard is it's difficult to know about the audio until you put them
Mhm.
on the stage.
And shout out to the Pietro and Francesca who were down from Calgary. Up, or I should say, up to Edmonton. They went to the event on Sunday.
Absolutely. It's great that a lot of
Mhm.
people traveled. Some people jumped on the bus, bought a ticket, jumped on the bus. Some people
Mhm.
drove, got their own hotel, came up to Edmonton. So it's pretty cool that so many people showed up. While we wait for Jeff to work out
Mhm.
his audio, Supreme Court of Canada update for Universal Ostrich Farm. Supreme Court of Canada has released their appeal schedule for
Yeah.
November 2025. There is the ostrich farms not on that list. We weren't expecting them to be on the list because their application for leave hasn't been decided, because that's the process. First, the application for leave gets a decision, then it gets put on to the appeals schedule. But what this does is confirm that they're not at that stage yet. So they're not there, and they also didn't release any leave for appeal decisions for this week coming up. So all of October, the call order is not in effect,
Yeah.
and there should be none. And then there was concerns there that actually some of the. Okay, we'll see if we got Jeff now. Now, Jeff, are you there? Can we see if we got your audio? Nope. So he'll try again. Okay, because I think even on his side, he should see the little audio bar moving.
Yeah.
He's trying, folks. He's trying. So back to the ostrich farm. So there's also some concerns though. And here's 6 concerns that I brought up. Multiple refusals by the CFIA to permit an official count of the ostriches. They refused the owners, they refused the RCMP, and they also refused an indigenous group who came down and said, "This is our land, we want to count." So there's at least 3 refusals at this stage to provide an account. And there's been blue bin disposals leaving. We don't know what's in them.
Yeah.
Okay. There's an industrial cleaner that was kind of called a biodigester, but we looked into it further, and it's an industrial cleaner, which is really odd for it to be there if it's just taking care of these birds. CFI announced plans to tarp. 2 vocal supporters were arrested and banned from the property, and the high zoom lens photo shows that there's far fewer birds than the 390 or so. So the concern here is, are they started this call already? And if they are, it's against the law because they don't have the rights right now.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we got you. Yes.
There we go.
For your persistence on that one. If anything, you're definitely a persistent guy. You'll get the tough things done. But nice to see you this morning, Jeff. How are you?
I'm great. It was fun. A really great weekend.
I don't doubt it. So from your perspective, it's hard to get a final count because you guys, nobody did official count. There's no ticket sales. This was open to the public. So it's tough to get a count. But was this one of the largest crowds that you stood in front of when it came to this movement?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, I think this whole discussion about crowd size is kind of a distraction. But I mean, the point is, I think I put out earlier on there was easily over 10,000 people there. When we did our our security team did the initial walkthrough with the sheriffs, they said that if we filled the plaza from the steps all the way to the back wall, there would be over 20,000 people there. From what I've seen of the aerial photos, that's what it looked like to me. But, again, it's irrelevant. I mean, I've seen, David Parker sent me an AI thing that said 12,400 and change. I've seen people posting stuff on Grok that said between 12 and 15,000, whatever it is. I mean, my take on it was, and this is what I put out online, was that it was over 20,000. And that, somebody else had heard from the RCMP that it was over 20,000. So, I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. What people need to keep in mind is that this rally was called less than 3 weeks ago, right? And in 3 weeks,
Jeff, your system changed. You changed cameras and your audio died. Jeff, I don't know if you can hear us, but your audio died. Can you try your microphone again? No, we can't unmute it. Can you try your audio again? Your microphone stopped. Yeah, it says muted on our side. Yeah, this is the fun of technology. He's right, though. Like, the number of people doesn't really matter a lot.
True.
Okay. Whether it was 1 or 1 million, a lot of people showed up. And I think what he was about to get into is, for a 3 weeks notice, a lot of people showed up at the legislature, and it was peaceful.
Yep.
There were no problems. And the counter protesters was something we'll get into in a bit. But there was about 8 or 9 of them. There was more security of the police surrounding them than there were of them. And it was a forever Canadian group. There was Palestinian protesters. Antifa was there. Very, very small showing in Edmonton. This is the lion's den when it comes to leftists, is Edmonton.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
there was very little counter anything going on. And what I think what we're seeing is, this is the largest group, at least during this wave of the movement, that has shown up. Because I know Calgary, when I was at that one, it was about 1,000 people. Became standing room only. Had to turn people away. But this was absolutely more than 1,000. I think everybody agrees there's more than 1,000 people here standing outside in Edmonton.
Yeah, and then hello to here from Derek Stidler. Thanks, CISA. Still trying to stifle the news, I see.
Could be, because he was going just fine, and then you saw his camera change, and then you saw his audio change, and something went funky there. And sorry, folks, we don't have the ability to change any of that on our side.
Yeah,
we can just turn them up, and that's about it. So we're going to keep trying. We'll get them right back.
And then someone mentioned here is on local. Someone mentioned that there was 30,000 watching online. I'm sure.
Well, live there was I think 13 or 14,000 concurrent, but now more than 30,000 has watched it. Derek Smith, who's the one that posted that, he's going to be on tomorrow morning, so we'll actually get into more of those details with him, because he's from Unforgivable Fringe or something along those lines. I'm sorry, Derek. I'm sorry. We don't watch each other's shows a lot because we got our own shows. But Derek Smith will be on tomorrow. So we'll get into the streaming side of things. He was there. And I can see that Jeff's trying to reconnect. So we'll try and bring him back. But yeah, we couldn't make it. Oh, here he comes. And let's see if we can get him back. Do we get you back?
No audio. No. Oh, no. Unacceptable Fringe.
Unacceptable Fringe, yeah. No audio. Do you want to try with your cell phone? Maybe your cell phone will have better luck for us this morning, Jeff? No.
Yeah, I think that is his cell phone.
Okay. I don't know if you have a Bluetooth device. Maybe turn off any Bluetooth on your phone. Maybe it's trying to connect to a device. We'll see what works there. All right, folks. This is live TV, streaming, whatever we want to call it nowadays.
What is
What do
it?
the kids
That's
call it
right.
now? Live podcast.
Yeah.
Live.
We're
We're not AI. AI wouldn't do this on you. But what we'll do is, what'd you call it? Unacceptable fringe?
Yeah, I'm seeing now unacceptable fringe, and then someone that says unclosable fringe. For unclosable fringe, never mind. But yeah, unacceptable fringe.
Unacceptable. I think that's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah. So Derek Smith, and he'll be on tomorrow. Well, let's just jump back into. Oh, Jeff's coming back.
Yes, he's back.
Do we have you? No audio. No audio, my friend. Nope, there's no audio. Try turning off any Bluetooth because you may have more than one mic option. I'm with you on this one, Jeff. I'm with you. Yeah, I can see you muting and unmuting, but there's nothing coming through. if he tries to come back, oh, nope. In the gears at the bottom, oh boy, maybe try a laptop. All right, we're going to continue. Got to roll with these punches. What was that one quote? F it, we're going to do it live.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to get back as soon as we can get audio from him. We'll get him back. Back to the calling and of the birds. Now, I'm not saying they are calling. Okay, there's just 6 things that have been highlighted over the month that's concerning, especially the no cooperation on getting the count done.
Yeah, especially from the RCMP. That's an interesting one. Like for them to say no to the RCMP.
Well,
I wonder who else can say no to the RCMP. Not many.
No, not many at all.
Not many.
But there's supposed to be an investigation by the RCMP into it now because they were expecting to get answers. But we'll see. We'll see what Jeff's got. Jeff, do we got you? We're trying. No audio.
That's interesting.
He's trying hard.
Yeah.
Folks, no audio. Nope. We had you just for a little bit and then something changed on your side.
Jesus.
Oh boy. We'll definitely try and bring it back if we can't get this to work today. We'll definitely bring it back. We still have 18 minutes, so bear with us, folks. But maybe
Trudeau says no to the RCMP.
Yes, of course he does.
Yes.
Yeah, and now Carney as well. But here's what I'm highlighting here is if this is the case and there are some calling going on, it's illegal action because the Supreme Court stay is very clear. You can't do that until their decision's made. A lot of people are speculating that, yes, they are doing it. We can't take that step because there's no evidence that they're doing it other than Spirit has died. One of the birds has died. A couple of them look very frail as well. But the problem is people are having a hard time getting that count. So if only they just said, here's how many that we have and moved on, I think this would alleviate some concerns, but they're not. So there's a lot of speculation about what's going on. And I also highlighted here that no Canadian, no matter what side you're on this issue, because there's definitely a naysayer side to this issue, no Canadian should accept a federal agency acting outside the law. Full stop. We should all at least agree on that.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on with this particular issue, whether you think that their fundraising is suspicious, whether you think the CFIA's overreach is happening, whether you think there's calling going on, whether you think that this is a big psyop, whatever side you're on, we should at least all agree. No Canadian should accept a federal agency acting outside the law. So if that's what's going on here too, that's something that all Canadians should be able to get behind and say no to. So that's what I was highlighting with this post. Supreme Court is not touching this issue in October. We may see it on the agenda in November. And then somebody asked, is it normal for things to take this long? Oh boy, this is the Supreme Court. We just saw a decision for Ian Runkle that was 5 years in the making. So yeah, things can take a while. But this is an expedited application. So it should take months, not years.
Yeah.
But there's no guarantee. This is why we keep looking at the website to see what's on the docket or the agenda or being announced. But every week I keep checking this and it's not on the docket yet.
Yeah.
As we keep going here, Brendan Miller, he's one of these lawyers who did a lot of work for the freedom side of things. He was at the POEC. He's defended Marco van Hugenbos. He's now defending Tony Olenek. And he's providing some information here about the Globe and Mail, talking about Thomas Lusakic's.
Mhm.
I think I'm getting close to getting his name now. Lusakic's petition. The inside rumor is he's close to his numbers, but he's also close to the deadline. And he's got to be verified because he may have some duplicates,
Yeah.
triplicates, non-residents. We'll see where he goes with that. Because one of the things that they don't do when they collect the signature is, make you present ID and prove that you are
Mhm.
who you are, or you live where you need to live for this particular thing. It'll be a validation step as well. But what Brendan's highlighting here is Lusakic needs to understand that following this petition being successful, assuming it is, it hands over the wording of the question to the Legislative Assembly of Alberta. The wording has to comply with the Clarity Act as reviewed by Parliament. This triggers a separation referendum. Okay, so yes, maybe not, because Lusakic filed this as a policy referendum and not a constitutional referendum. He may have a lower bar, and it also may not need to go through the Clarity Act because it's not a constitutional question, which means it's not a full-blown separation question, whether it's to stay or go. Like, it doesn't matter what the yes or no is on the question. If it's not a constitutional one, he may not actually be able to reach the bar to make it a Clarity Act one. So we're going to see on this one, Mr. Miller. I know he is highly experienced in a lot of this stuff, but that is the big difference. Is it was a policy petition, not a constitutional petition. Constitutional petition, absolutely.
Yes.
This is the path forward. There's no question about it, because that's what this means. It means a change to Constitution as far as Alberta is concerned. So yes, that would be Clarity Act. It would got to go through the Assembly of Legislative Assembly of Alberta. It has to be reviewed by Parliament. Yes, but the question is whether or not a policy one is, because a policy one guides the governing party, not necessarily to do anything. It's a policy. They could decide to just ignore the whole thing.
Right.
So we'll see. Now, if they decide, maybe was what Brendan's getting at, maybe if they decide on their level that this is going to become a Clarity Act constitutional referendum, that's the power they have, because they can say, okay, well, it was a policy petition, but we're going to adopt that policy and we're going to go ahead and make this change. So it could end up on this path. We'll see. And if that is the case, well, then we get our referendum on separation no matter what.
Yes.
No matter who brings it forward first. So we'll see. I know that if this one doesn't reach the bar and the decision comes out of the Alberta courts in December, because the next court date is November 19th, I believe, 18th, 19th. That we can't get Jeff on because he's part of that as well. Then we would have the APP's one.
Yes.
They have more intents to sign than they need. They'll just collect the signatures at that stage and not canvass like Lusakic had to do. And I think no matter what, and this is part of my interview with Danielle Smith, no matter what, there's going to be a referendum in spring, early summer. Let's try this again. Jeff, do we have you?
Sure.
Don't think so. I appreciate your effort of trying, Jeff. We don't have audio.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job trying. If you have a laptop, we still have time. We can run late if you're able to pop on with another device. Yeah.
As a side note, Deb says Jeffrey Rath's speech was outstanding.
I know. I heard that too. A lot of people said it was a belle of the ball type of thing. I heard that too. And he's trying hard, folks. Look, he's trying hard. We're trying. We'll see if we can get this going. We'll keep going here. So thank you to Brendan for posting that, getting that out there. And this is really the only coverage the mainstream is giving is Lusakic's petition. They don't really cover the rally or the APP stuff at this stage. There's some small ones. I saw the CBC did mention that the rally happened, but didn't go into details.
Yeah. Just something happened. People waved.
There was a bunch of
flag.
blue.
Yeah.
We're not sure why.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff coverage. King Charles III is watching Canadians in Toronto involved in the No Kings protest against President Trump. Every king enjoys a good court jester. laughing because we have a king. Hello.
Yeah.
This is Canada. We have a king that's a head of state, and there's a no kings protest in Toronto against an American who's not a king. They haven't had a king since 1776. That was the whole point. Okay, they left the monarch behind. I think it was King George, something like that. But we still have one. So how funny is that? That we're there's not we, because we're not part of this at all. Now, quite frankly, I would love to see a true no kings Canadian thing
That would be.
against our king, not a faux king, because Trump's not a king. They
Yep.
just don't like him.
It's just silliness.
It is. But hey, Canadians, if you really want to have a no kings protest against Charles, you would actually have a lot of support. Only not even a recent poll, it was 2023. There was a poll done. 23% of Canadians supported having monarchy, which means 77 don't.
Yep.
Okay, so you'd actually be in a majority if you actually wanted to start talking about having a no king in Canada. There would be support for that. There truly would be support for that. Not by the Liberals, though. They like them. They want to keep them. They like this kind of power.
I love this line here from Derek. Low education voters united to embarrass themselves.
It's just weird. There's an anti-Trump group.
Yeah, the never Trumpers.
Yeah, and they'll do whatever. Okay, he says don't take Tylenol while pregnant, so they
even says so on
I would
the
love to
box.
see him come out and say don't jump off of high buildings. Like,
goodness, these people.
Hey, Jeff's still trying, folks, and yeah, he's the guest today because we're back. Guess who's back? Paula Jay. Yes, we're back. So we're still working on that. We got 2 minutes of his audio working, but here we go. Listen, there's some people out there who think I only talk negative about Paul Poilievre. Not true at all, and I'm not even talking negative about him. There's just some hypersensitive conservatives out there who think that all I ever do is attack conservatives. Baloney.
Hell yeah,
you haven't watched any of my stuff. I'm critical, but I'm constructive critical, not destructive. Here's Poilievre. He's talking about no sacrifices, no more sacrifices, a youth event with him because Mark Carney came out and says the youth are going to have to make sacrifices. Same thing he said about Alberta when he was running for leadership.
Exactly.
Alberta is going to have some pain, and so we're going to have to stand by Alberta, he said, which means it's going to cause some pain. October 30th. But this is in Toronto. He was doing this in Toronto. Did we already forget that he's an elected MP in Alberta?
Yeah, he did.
So that's all I said. Listen, that's all I said. I didn't say he shouldn't have this event. I didn't say he shouldn't get out there speaking to the youth. I literally said, why is Poilievre doing the event in Toronto, Ontario? I guess that Alberta election and seat was just for show after all. Once an Ontario politician, always an Ontario politician. This is a fair criticism because he could do this in Edmonton. He can do this in Calgary. Like, he literally could do it in his riding. It's a large riding. Go to Drumheller. Go to Camrose. You could do it there. He's in Ontario.
Yeah.
Now, some people are saying, well, we need some more votes out in Ontario. Not we. You guys are talking about conservatives. Good luck. Like, literally, good luck. Ontario has been very clear. Toronto has been very clear. You're not going to go and win an election. Now, there's some rumors that there may be a snap election by Carney. He can't get the votes for his budget. There may be an election coming up. I doubt it because that would require the NDP joining the Conservative Party on a no confidence vote to cause that to happen. If there's a no confidence vote and it's successful, then we have an election. I don't see Carney volunteering to have an election at this stage. Although, according to the polls, he would get a majority if he did. I don't know if Canadians will be happy if there's an election so soon or not, but we'll see. But another way is a non-confidence. This is what the rumor mill is saying, that there's a non-confidence coming. That can't happen without NDP support.
Yeah, that's right.
And I do not see NDP wanting another election at this stage. They were lucky.
They can't afford it.
Forget that. They were lucky to get the seats that they got.
Yeah.
And if the NDP join the Conservatives to do a non-confident, they lose their entire base because they just sided with the Conservatives. There's absolutely no way the NDP base that's left would be pleased to be forced to do another election, risk the seats they got, and see their party side with the Conservatives on this. I think it's far more likely that NDP will not vote for non-confidence, so they'll let the Liberals stay in. Far more likely that the Liberals will strike another deal with the NDP to stay in power.
Mhm.
And even far more likely than Conservatives triggering an election is an NDP Liberal merger. This
Yeah.
is something I've been saying for a couple of years now, because that would give the Liberals a majority they're looking for.
Mhm.
That would give the NDP MPs power, because now they're going to be Liberal in a majority, so they'll have power. They actually do something. They can't do much right now. And as long as the deal of the merger is the NDP base gets A, B, C, and D of spending or benefits or services or something, I can see that. I can see that happening faster than I can see the NDP joining the Conservative Party to topple the Liberal government.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the NDP would survive another election right now.
No. And there's a comment here from No Jab Forever and Rumble. Pierre is my MP and has been a huge disappointment.
Don't know what to say. Like, we knew the second that he was poking around Alberta, it was just going to be figurative.
Yeah.
And he even said it, in the debate. He said, "Look, I'm the leader of the party. I'm not going to be here much." He said it, so he told you guys, but you still put him in there. It would have been better to see an alternative there. They didn't change the makeup of the parliament.
Correct.
It wasn't going to change the government from a Liberal minority or majority or anything like that. It wasn't going to change anything. But it would have been good to see a stronger voice in there fighting against him. And also it would have been good to see the leader lose twice. So they'd have to find another leader.
But that's the thing. Who?
Well, the thing is, that's what these leadership races are for. Dr. Leslie Lewis would have been a good one. Brock would have been a good one. I actually think Dane Lloyd, the one that I ran against, would be a better leader than Poilievre, because at least he represents Alberta's values and he does fight for them, superficially at least.
Yes.
Okay. I think I would have been a stronger voice for Parkland. But if we're looking at what is in there right now, those are some of the ones that would be on the list. Like, Dane Lloyd was a tough challenger because he is focused on some of the Alberta issues. Maybe not everything I'd like, but better than Pierre. Okay. Not a very high bar.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that are conservative listen to that, but if we're going to be constructive criticism, we got to be able to say there's some faults.
I agree.
And here we go with Corey Morgan. Unions are totally out of control. I agree with you, Corey. It's time to fight. Time for right to work legislation. And here's where I said I'm expecting this to happen in the next 48 hours. This was yesterday. We may be hearing something today. We'll find out.
Yeah.
And then we'll move forward. But I do think it's time because there was a time in history where unions were necessary.
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely being taken advantage of the workers, horrible conditions, unsafe conditions, unlivable wages. You even had like the company store where you weren't paid in dollars, but you were paid in company bucks that you can use at the company store. All of that was not good. Then the system caught up. We now have tribunals and we have legal matters. We have case law. The legal system started to catch up. And yes, you can tip your hat to a lot of unions for providing that, because at one point in time, unions were representative of their membership. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
That ship has sailed. Like, when
The
you look at
infrastructure is now there. That's been set up.
when you look at things like QP in Ontario, that is not a union anymore. That is a political advocacy organization pushing forward, using the dues to do that. That leader that runs that group, he's violent. He goes out there in protest, attacking journalists. That's not what a union's for anymore. We've received a lot of teachers, and also vicariously through other people we know, the teachers don't like the ATA, the Teachers Association. It was the Teachers Association that required masking, vaccine, firing, shaming, litter boxes. There was a lot of things going on through the association pushing it down. And also the Alberta Teachers Association is kind of two things. It's a regulatory body and a union. That's one function too many, because there's a conflict there. If you want to keep your job, because it's an automatic union that you have to get into, you also have to be regulated by them. And this is something Danielle Smith has said she was going to crack down on, those regulatory bodies overstepping
Yeah.
their purpose here. You're not supposed to tell people how to govern themselves outside of the profession, what they post online. It shouldn't be an issue. If they go criminal, then it could be an issue, but not if they're not criminal. You shouldn't be involved in that. Confirming that someone has a skill set, to certifying them, I get it, but running their lives, telling them what they can and can't say online, when it's non-criminal,
Yeah.
that's where they've overstepped a lot. Now, the ATA is both. They're a union. They're supposed to represent their contracts and their negotiations with the government, but they're also a regulatory body, which means they certify the teachers. I think it should be one or the other. And I do think it would be far better if unions had competition in the market. So
Yeah.
if you didn't like what the ATA was doing, you can go to the RTA, the Rural Teachers Association. You can go to the UTA, the Urban Teachers Association. You can go to whatever other one pops up. And what will happen is, just like any other free market, supply and demand will dictate what's available out there. And if a union's dropping the ball huge and not focusing on the members, but they're focusing on like political advancements and things like that, the members will just
They
move.
need to have the right to be able to remove their dues and subsequent funding for it. Yep.
Sure,
agreed.
that's how they can speak. Now, a lot of people are mad about this because they're in the unions and their job is the union, so they're not happy when we speak about this. But one person said that I don't understand, but unions, they vote, members vote. Okay, but it's still a monopoly. Like, you can vote with your membership and your dues. Like, I don't agree with the direction of this as a whole. And a lot of people feel bullied. And if you don't vote our way, you're homophobic. Like, those are the kind of messages that go out. And we've seen how a small minority can push a large majority through shaming and things like that. So no, just because you can vote within a union doesn't mean you actually have representation. If you're able to even have the choice to not be unionized, you'll negotiate yourself with the management. You'll work on your contract with the management yourself. There's a lot of teachers that would do that because they just want to teach. They don't want a political body pushing, and putting on the line their ability to teach. Like, no teachers are in the classrooms right now.
Correct. And children are, that's what, week 3, going on to week 4 of just doing nothing. Yeah,
so stay tuned. We heard from some teacher-related people that the teachers are expecting to be put back to work today. And that was with or without a deal. So that would have to be back to work legislation. And then we saw that threat from the Association of Unions of Alberta, whatever they're called, threatening that if she uses that, they're going to go on strike too. But if they do that, I hope she takes the next step and say, all right, let's open market unions.
Yeah, that would be great. I think there would be a lot of positive responses from
less government.
members. Yep.
Look, the UCP voted on a policy that says remove the monopoly. Well, less government, get rid of the legislation, not add. Just get rid of the legislation. Let unions pop up. Let members join whatever they want or not. Maybe they don't want to be part of the union anymore. But anyways, that's our show for you. Sorry about the issues with Jeff. We love him. We want him to come back.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll test out his audio, or he'll test out his audio, or get a laptop or something. But we got him for a bit.
But nevertheless, thanks for everyone who took the time to turn up on Saturday and wave your flag and stand up and be counted. You're somewhere around 20 to 20,000 plus or minus. But well done for speaking out, because this is what Albertans Albertans want.
And thank you very much to everybody who supported us in the election. Whether you were in Brazeau and you could vote or not, we had lots of support.
Yeah.
And one of the fun things is now running into people in public that we never met before that said, hey, we voted for you. And it's like, oh,
and also that we now know. We now know your names. Definitely know your face. The name may come second, a little bit later. But no, thank you very much. Yeah, everyone who turned out and voted has lent their support and wanted to make change within the school trustee and for you on council.
And we're looking forward to Derek Smith tomorrow morning. He's confirmed. Wednesday is tentative. I don't want to release the name because they're going to come on. It's an MLA, an active sitting MLA, who we may be talking about what happens today or tomorrow.
Yeah.
So can't release that name just yet, but it's an active MLA in Alberta. Thursday, we have Nico Lagan coming on because
Mhm.
he's now going to be doing a conservative Christian show. It's about time God comes back to
Mhm.
the conversation. And that was one of the things I was disappointed about talking to somebody from our old church, because they were adamant that politics and religion shouldn't mix. And I said, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the world right now. Politics used to have God as the
Mhm.
foundation and God-given rights. That got removed from politics. That's a problem. And then telling people they can't talk about politics is another problem.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a comment earlier in the chat that says that, and he said, Marvin, you said it was like your opinion. Sure, I agree. Says my political opinion and my religious opinion don't have to blend. I says, no, I agree. You don't have to talk politics in church. What I don't like is that I don't feel comfortable that I can't do that. Like to have open conversations, to actually share my opinion and feel that, no, I need to be on my best behavior and we don't talk about that. Conversation happens. And to feel that I could not have that is just disappointing.
And I just remind people to look around. This is what
Yeah.
happens when you remove God from politics,
Mhm.
and it's no longer part of the charter. People just ignore it, and you can't talk. Like politics and religion at the dinner table should be the norm,
Mhm.
and this is what happens when you don't.
Yeah.
The Marxists get in there because removing God is part of the plan. If you don't have faith in God, then you're going to put your faith into government,
Mhm.
and
Ha!
here's exactly where we're at. So no, we're pushing back. So Nico's pushing back as well. He's bringing back God to the podcast, conservative Christian strong one.
Mhm.
He's going to be doing it. So that's on Thursday. So we're getting to that. And Friday we have John Carpe. He's
Cool.
coming back because the JCCF working on a bunch of things. So that's your lineup for this week, folks. So
Mhm.
hopefully you enjoy it. And I'm really, if any of our new friends from the new church are here,
Yay.
hi.
Hi.
And yes, I am Jason Levine, maybe on X.
Yes. But otherwise, everyone, thanks a lot for joining us. Yes, we took the time off because you know what, we needed it. Jason was now waking up at 7 instead of 6. I was dragging my butt out of bed by 8. So it was nice to have some rest in the morning and be able to catch up on the projects. We still got stuff to do and finish off, but it was good to have the time and dedication to do that because we were putting our time and dedication to the election.
And recovering. We did a lot of door knocking, a lot of effort, a lot of energy was spent.
And remember,
after you guys gave your comments, I did adjust my door knocking because we were door knocking all the way to about 2:00 on Monday, finishing up the last things that we're handing out. I did adjust it, so thank you very much. I am trainable and coachable. Okay, folks, have yourself a wonderful day, and take care of each other.
Are we going to locals?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so locals will be seeing you shortly.
Yeah, go ahead. Say your goodbye, and then I'll do my goodbye.
Everyone have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
I love you all, and God bless.